on the lead up to Art Fight 2026, this being the 10th anniversary for this amazing annual event. To sum it up real quick, it's an art gifting game that takes place for the entire month of July each year. There's 2 teams that people can join, each that are trying to get the most amount of points by making art for other participants. Attacking, if you will. If you're curious or confused about it, you can check out my updated 2026 Beginner's Guide. But for today, our attention is going to be more around Art Fight regrets. Or really just common experiences and feelings that art fighters had that they wish could have been different. This will be helpful for anyone who wants to better prepare themselves in making the most of the event while taking into account their own sanity, because for as lighthearted as this game is, I know us artists are prone to a few traps when it comes to taking on any sort of challenge. And when considering the momentum and excitement that's bound to occur, it can really pack a punch if you're going full force into it. But before we start, I want to inform you that I'll be streaming a bunch on both YouTube and Twitch, this starting on May 24th, plus of course for the majority of July during the actual event. If you'd like to join in or keep up when I post videos around art fight or original character stuff, then, subscribe. Turn on those notifications and you'll be ready. Let's get started with the first one. Imagine this scenario. You've been waiting to do Art Fight for who knows how many months at this point, and soon enough, it's just within reach. You've probably done a lot in preparation with updating your character rep sheets and maybe even making little graphics for your page. The hype is through the roof as the themes are finally revealed, which will be late June by the way. And then, before you know it, July 1st is here. You begin. Each day flows into the next, and you're feeling on top of this world. You're doing it. Maybe you've already submitted some artwork, or you're making solid progress on one ambitious piece. Something changes though. By the end of the first week, or even the second, you feel yourself losing steam. This is the part I want to talk about. When you start with a sprint, best foot forward and all that, excitement is motivating, though at some point its reserves will wane and you'll come to this point where you'll wonder, where did all that energy go? What's wrong here? It's clear, of course, how it could have happened, but it can be disappointing regardless, depending on the goals you had. Let's just keep this one in mind and go through the next 2 regrets, and by the end, we'll tie it all together, okay? The next big regret that comes around is centered more on the general human tendency towards comparison. It really is a normal thing to do and experience, but it can be an absolute pain and really suck the joy out of all things you love to do, even for something as lighthearted as Art Fight. There's 2 directions that this goes. The first is around the quantity of attacks you've done. It's more visible when you're active within a community, but it still comes through even when just browsing through people's profiles. Participants often document how much they've done, and of course that number just continues to grow with each passing day, leaving you in a bit of awe. Sometimes it can be doubt and worry. Am I doing this right, or am I doing enough? Am I going too slow? Sure, you can understand that some artworks are of the speedier, sketchy variety, though there's also these very talented artists out there who can just do so much. The second direction that comparison can take is on an even less controllable aspect, and that's the quantity of gift art that you receive versus that of others. This is probably one of the biggest beginner mistakes here, is when they expect a lot of art versus focusing on the joy they experience when they make it themselves. Why aren't people attacking me? Or why are others getting more than I'm getting? It's a downer of a thought, but again, we're going to resolve this in the final section. Hold on, we're almost there. The final one I want to talk about is around flexibility, or really, inflexibility. Early participants can at times become locked in on a specific way of doing Art Fight, namely in goals like daily attacks, digital only, or high effort only, for example. I have to do it this way, and I have to stick with my goal, which, while very valid and worthwhile to strive for completion, it can and will have you feel stuck at times. To use daily attacks as an example, what if you miss a day or multiple days just because life or you're truly not in the mood? It can feel like breaking a habit at that point. And once that happens, it can feel like you failed or like it's not worthwhile to get back to it as other things come to fill your time instead. Once July ends, you're left with that thought of, could I have done more? Did I make the most of my time? Similarly, what if you fall just short of your goal? Hell, even by a lot. With a fixed and inflexible definition of success, I'd say that this can lead to a lot of regrets, either in how you went about it in the first place, or in feeling bad about the time you did take off, about not hitting that goal. Lots of feelings there, but we did it. Those are the main three. First is blazing through right from the very start. Second is getting caught up in comparisons and expectations. And finally, the third with inflexibility around goals and how strictness can result in more friction in picking it back up when some things fall through. They are all interconnected in a way, so that's why I wanted to bring it all together here. If you think I missed anything too, and if you'd like to share your own experience, please go ahead and share it in the comments, and if you see any that you relate to down there as well, go ahead and reply and respond to each other too. We've all been there in some shape or form, so let's open that up, especially for the first years out there. What it all boils down to is an inevitable shift in your own energy, where in those moments of change, there can suddenly come doubt and concern over keeping up, either with others or with your own health goals. The fundamental thing that is not accounted for is that very nature of fluctuation, of the fact that for as high energy as you may start off as, there will be an equivalent need for rest and recharging. In addition to this change of energy, there's of course a change of circumstances, where sometimes life happens or you're noticing a health matter that makes art difficult to do. I'd even say there's simply a low mood that can come around after experiencing so much joy, where you have just so much fun, but you can't really sustain it forever. When these cycles aren't anticipated, or when low moods aren't properly attended to with grace, it does result in those other negative feelings that can make art fight not so much fun. And when you keep doing the same thing despite all those signs, it feels more like you're trudging through rather than actually enjoying it. So what's to be done then? You can very well make the most of that early momentum, but the best thing to do once you feel the impact is to allow yourself to go at a slower, more sustainable pace. Something flexible that works for you and your needs. Do not measure success only through numbers and ratios, and leave some room for rest and variety so you can recharge and pick up art fight again for that second wind of momentum, or perhaps even that final strong push, if that feels comfortable and invigorating for you to do. Let's address that comparison aspect too. The big thing to remember, even outside of art fight, is that we're all different people, and with that comes different experiences, different limitations, different goals. It's always something to take a breather on, to recenter and to focus on your own improvement, to focus on the fact that you're doing amazing already by just trying this event in the first place. Doing that one attack can be a big achievement for yourself, and you should feel proud for putting yourself out there and getting yourself to create. There are things that are out of your control, like how many attacks you end up receiving, though if you can work on easing expectations of others and to focus on the things that you can do yourself, then that will instantaneously free you and allow you to participate without having to feel like you need a win or gain in some way. Finally, when those low energy days do come around, or really when any kind of block happens, it'd be a good time to check in with your goals and to consider your flexibility. Do you really have to hit that specific goal? If yes, then how can you introduce some flexibility in spite of it? What's going to recharge you so you can push through? Do you have a plan for rest? If you don't have to hit that goal, then in what way will you allow yourself to pivot? You can change things up as much as you want. In either case, it's about lessening that stress of those expectations you're putting on yourself. The goal here should be fluidity and self-compassion for when things do need to change, given, those fluctuating cycles. So when you're tired, just think of ways you can creatively recharge yourself in a different way, or to, of course, just take a break entirely without feeling guilt about it. To give some suggestions, maybe try switching mediums for a day, like trying traditional instead of digital. Added benefit of less screen time, woo! There's allowing yourself to do a messy attack, drawing simple, silly characters, involving yourself in a different way, like interacting with other participants or helping with raiding attacks. You could even try something that's way out there for you, just to truly mix it up. Did you know that food art's a thing? You could literally eat your attacks after you're done with them. If that's not fulfilling, I don't know what is. What I'm trying to get at, though, is that there's no one right way to do art fights. No participant out there is infinite in their energy, and even if you do manage to get a lot done during all of July, there's still after the event that you'll have to consider for recovery. It's not a bad thing, though. Just account for it. Expect those low days and do things that are fulfilling and re-energizing, rather than locking yourself in shoulds or self-judgment. You can't have any regrets if you're truly just allowing yourself to have a good time at your own pace and to do the art you want to do and to not worry about what you should be getting out of all of it. And that's it. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to be streaming a bunch soon, and I would love to see y'all there. Check out the description for links, and again, you're welcome to share your experience in the comments of maybe things you'd wish you'd done differently, and things that would be good for someone in their first year to know. I'll emphasize too that art fight is not a serious thing in the end, but I know us artists can use some affirmations and encouragement either way. You all got this, it's going to be okay. Bye!